Well, everyone, a little while ago we did a video on a new CBI program that was coming out, but at the time we didn't have the current details. So today I'm going to go over with you the official current details. You can submit applications and start going for the citizenship by investment in Northern Macedonia. So this becomes the, depending on whether you want to consider Turkey to be Europe or not, the third or fourth official citizenship in Europe. Obviously, unofficially, there's three or so, and then kind of some other quasi things on the table. But if you want to go for the European Union, of course, there's fewer, and then I guess you could throw in Bulgaria. Anyway, bottom line is we're going to talk today about the Northern Macedonian Citizenship by Investment Program. I'm going to cover for you how much it costs to add spouse and children, who all it applies to. What sort of visa-free access you get, some of the benefits that are associated with that access, what the timelines are in terms of accessing it, one of the pitched value propositions and how probable that is, and we'll see from there. So before we dive in, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, nail the notification bell, hit the little all notifications so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. I really appreciate your support with the channel, checking things out. I appreciate if you would help us to grow it. Thank you so much. And if you'd like help with citizenship by investment programs, figuring out which one is best for you, helping to get the citizenship by investment program or residencies in those situations, as well as tax optimization and asset protection, forming companies, all those sorts of things, please reach out to us. You can book a call, calendly.com/Michael-Rosman, it's linked in the description below, or you can send a message to our websites, offshorecitizen.net or offshorecapitalist.com, if you want either help with the strategy or the implementation. So, without further ado, let's dive in. So first of all, for those of you who don't know, Northern Macedonia is a small country just north of Greece. It borders with Albania, also with Bulgaria. And, definitely I'm a big fan of going and checking out different places. It's pretty accessible if you're in Bulgaria to go down to Northern Macedonia. And so, yeah, always I encourage people to go check it out. Capital of Skopje. And it is not an EU member state at this point in time. They are hoping to get into the EU. They're saying 2025. I think that's optimistic. If you kind of have some concept just of the stages, just a quick little education for you here. The process of getting into the EU has these 33 chapters, each with 4 stages. And to give some idea, Montenegro started in 2013. They have now completed all 33 chapters on the first 3 stages, and they have 9.1% or something of the total number of chapters done in the 4th stage. Northern Macedonia hasn't yet to do any of those yet, so they're quite a bit behind Montenegro. They're sort of being blocked at this point in time by Bulgaria. There's some weird things between kind of Greece and Bulgaria and Macedonia. Just the fact that they called it Macedonia was a concern with Greece, and then anyway, there's some politics there. But that being said, we're here to talk about their citizenship by investment program. So let's just start with the cost. It is a 200,000 euro donation. Okay, there is 50,000 euros of processing fees for a single applicant. To add a spouse costs 20,000 euros approximately, 10,000 euros approximately to add a dependent child. If you want a child over 18, they have to do a separate application. It's the 200,000 euros. They also have this weird thing with spouses. They don't want to encourage arranged marriages and things like this. So the spouse gets permanent residency immediately. They don't actually need to live there, but they get citizenship a year later. And if you haven't been married for 3 years, then it takes 2 years to add the spouse. So there's some little bit different criteria there on these programs than there are in many other places. There's, again, some different things with Bulgaria as well, so something to be in mind there. Aside from that, we can pay attention to the timelines. It takes, they say 3 to 4 months. Now, the reality is that would be pretty normal for a citizenship by investment program, so it's probably somewhat accurate. That being said, it's a new program, so we don't really have a lot of data, whereas we can look at, St. Kitts or Grenada or something, and we can see exactly how long it's been taking over time and what the trends are, etc. Here we don't have that data. So we expect to get that data over the next little while to find out what's really happening in practice. But it's a reasonable time period that they're projecting so far. What about in terms of visa-free access? So there's some unique kind of added benefits here. First of all, it has E2 visa access. I mentioned before that Grenada has E2 visa access and Turkey has E2 visa access. None of the other, like none of the Caribbean CBIs or Vanuatu have E2 visa access. So that's sometimes compelling for people. This is for the US. Then on the side of China, Grenada was the only one that had access to China. Northern Macedonia kind of has access. They say it does. It does with kind of some exceptions. So, you know, you can have visa-free access to China through Northern Macedonia, which is kind of attractive. Then we have Japan. So Japan is one that you typically don't get. And so that's kind of a nice added benefit as well. On the flip side, it's more like Montenegro than it is like the Caribbean programs. So in the Caribbean programs, you always have access to UK and Ireland, whereas in the case of Northern Macedonia, you don't. So you get the Schengen Zone, right? So unlike, it's a much better passport than, say, Turkish, because you have Schengen access, whereas you don't in the other case. This is Schengen visa-free access. It's not right to live in there. So again, similar to what we have with Montenegro, but not having, well, all the Caribbean programs, as well as Vanuatu, also have Schengen access. But they all have UK and Ireland, whereas here we don't get UK and Ireland. Of course, you don't have, you know, the normal ones, right? Canada, US, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, etc. But yeah, that China, Japan, those are compelling, as well as the E2 thing is beneficial to some people. So that's the basic overview of the program. I'd love to hear from you kind of what you think about it. It is, we'll see. I'm curious to find out, you know, how it works. The government has said they're only putting out 1,000 applications initially. This is something that they do pretty commonly. They'll say there's some sort of a number that they're going for. Montenegro did the same. Malta has the same. In the case of Malta, actually, they're probably going to follow through and actually close it down. In the case of Northern Macedonia, if it's a successful program, then likely they're going to keep it open. I think why this is appealing for some people is some people would be interested in actually living there. So one drawback of a bunch of the programs, say in the Caribbean, Vanuatu, etc., there's relatively few people who are going to go live on those islands. Northern Macedonia, although not as developed as a place like Bulgaria or Serbia, etc., still has, I think it's considered to be more livable. And certainly it's better connected, etc., at least within that region. So that's something to consider as well. It is quite poor. It's perhaps the poorest country in Europe, certainly down there along with like Albania and Moldova. So quite inexpensive as a result. The taxes are fairly good, and so, you know, that's compelling. They say it's 13th in the world for ease of doing business. I would say the ease of doing business list is made by people who don't actually do business, so I wouldn't give too much credit to that. But once in a while, there have been people who have wanted to set up there or have gone and done something else. I think the other thing that's compelling for people about this program is, whereas some of the countries clearly have a reputation that like these are CBI countries. So if you walk into a bank in Switzerland and you give them a St. Kitts or a Dominica passport, they're like, okay, great, it's a CBI, etc. Whereas, at least for the time being, Northern Macedonia doesn't have that reputation. So that's something that's compelling for certain people. So anyway, let me know what you think of the program. Put it in the comments below. As I said, if you're interested in this program or any of the other programs you'd like kind of to discuss which program might work best for you, or get help with actually getting one of the programs, or maybe you're saying, okay, you know, none of these work, but I'd like to gain access to moving into a different place, optimizing my taxes, getting some sort of a plan B, whatever the particular thing is for you that's useful, please reach out to me. You can book a call, calendly.com/Michael Rosmer. Hit the subscribe button, nail the notification bell, give a thumbs up to the video if you like it. If you don't, would love to hear so in the comments, would like to hear why. So thank you for the feedback, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.